more importantly, I came here to find out who you guys got in the 2022 Embo Bowl on Sunday. The Embo Bowl. Yeah.
Need an explanation.
Oh, this is that's the Miami Dolphins Jets game.
Embo Bowl.
Yeah, Embo Bowl. Our tight ends coach and assistant head coach, John Embry,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Eldest son, Taylor Embry, running back coach for the Jets.
A little known nugget.
And this is, this is serious consequences for Thanksgivings. You know? Well, I mean,
I live with that all year.
do you go with the, do you go through age, or do you go with beauty? I'm gonna go with both and do John Embry.
I'm going with Embry too.
Yeah.
So we saw Tyreek Hill pop up on the injury report yesterday with the quad. Is his status at all in question for Sunday, or do you expect him to play?
I can say with 100% conviction he will play or he won't play, and that's all Saleh's getting. No, I mean he's doing his he had something come up. We're treating it, and we're very hopeful he'll play.
Good. And I would understand if you don't want to answer this, of course, but obviously with Armstead, he didn't practice all week, so we never saw him on the field, and he's been playing through the toes. So fans are curious, is it a similar situation with X where you're merely resting the groin, but he's going to try to play through it, or is he seriously in question? Again, if you don't want to answer, I understand, but I'm just asking.
No, philosophically, generally when players don't practice, you don't play them. Like I've told you guys from the beginning, from the onset, that absolutes are not my cup of tea. So with players like Armstead and X, guys that have played at a high caliber NFL level for a long time, there are exceptions. So if X is able to go, kind of like in that Armstead fashion, if he's able to go on Sunday, I won't treat it like my general philosophy, and if him not fully practicing today won't be in a component to make that decision on Sunday. He's in that Armstead, Allen Iverson practice category. Yeah.
Mike, you've had some fun with Saleh and some of the connections you've had with the Jets this week. I'm curious, do you enjoy this week maybe more than others, or how your personal feel is given your connections to the other side?
I try to do my best not to even factor that stuff in. It is unique because you know people so well. But again, it's the players on the field that decide the game. So I try to. The hardest part is not overthinking it, because you do know their philosophies to a degree, and they know. So then you can go into that rabbit hole. But for me, I wouldn't say it's anything either way. Just because I've found in the past when I know people, sometimes it makes me worse because I think of it that way. It's just another opponent to me, and I think it's important for the players to feel that too.
If I could just follow up briefly, that same token, I think Robert Saleh was asked by Jets reporters about you and your style, and he said even though they've passed a lot, he's a run-first guy at heart, which I think we know. But what would you describe Saleh as in his coaching style if you could boil it down?
Okay. His coaching style is, it starts the leadership portion of it starts top down. So his coaching and his philosophy is to be extremely accountable to what the players are being told and to what they're being asked to do. I would say he is a extremely sound coach that wants his team to play fast with high effort. That's non-negotiable for him, and that's what is cool for me to watch the tape this year. I was able to watch a little bit, last year, as a friend, kind of look for it and whatever, and I saw it there. They're a little healthier this year. They've improved some talent, and you're seeing better results because it's a non-negotiable, sound, effort team that will you'll always see 11 players around the ball. And so that philosophically, he's a sound, rules-oriented coach that demands and receives fast play from his players.
What do you remember maybe liking about Zach Wilson in the scouting process a couple of years ago?
Very, very elite throwing talent. First and foremost, you can see it a little bit. It looks different, where it just pops off his hand. And I think when I was evaluating him, I said something before earlier in the week, but I said something about off-platform throws. I mean, that he can be in any position and distribute the ball anywhere on the field. It's like there's not that many guys that can do it like him. I think of you have Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes that are the bigger guys that can really string it across the field. But as throwers, the only guys that I really see that throw like him are probably Aaron and Kyler. That is similar that way. So you're always intrigued when you're looking at a quarterback and you see unbelievable throwing talent. And he's special in that way and can make a defense pay any part of the field at any given time.
Mike, we've done a lot of 4-game assessments of different aspects of the team. How would you assess yourself after 4 games?
Well, do you guys have any recall? And I've done this before, but I would refuse to ever give myself a high grade because my assessment of myself is that to always assess my job and to continually evolve and get better. So will I ever be pumped about the job that I'm doing? No, that's not the nature of the job. The nature of the job, the way I see it and what I'm trying to do for myself, is assess decisions across the board, which is all encompassing, and then never stop that process of development and getting better at stuff. So if you're asking me, it's probably gonna be the same at 3-1 as if it was 0-4 or 4-0. So bad person to ask.
What about the way you've handled things such as halftime at the Baltimore game? Same answer about you give yourself credit for that? Because the players could have tensed up or whatever.
No.
You seem to have handled that very well.
No, for me personally, I'm not one to give myself much credit at all because, I've said it before about a multitude of different topics, but people, for me to take this job, I better be adept at doing stuff. This job is to service hundreds of people, and I better when they're needing me be able to make the appropriate decisions and handle things the right way. So anything that you'd be saying, hey, that's kind of what I expected for myself. That's why you prepare so long over a decade is a long time when this particular job's on your mind. And at some point when it's not happening, you have to make sure that, okay, well, if it does happen, I better be ready and happy with where I'm at in coaching so that I can do right by the players in the organization that are counting on me. So I'll never yeah, I knew early that when I was starting the head coaching process here in the off season, I could feel it early that I was prepared for it, and I was happy with that. And I could feel as the next hurdles came, where I was calling plays for the first time, I could feel that that I was ready to do that. But what I'll never really be assessing. It'll always be bad on all fronts because I'm looking for ways to improve. Because if I think Mike Shanahan used to say it to Kyle when he was a little kid. Kyle would say it all the time in San Fran as a phrase that spoke to him that I've kind of adapted is if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. One of two things are always happening.
Mike, is there anything you can tell us in terms of an update on how Tua's doing?
No, that he's been diligently going through the process. He's right now he's still in the protocol, obviously. There's several outside specialists that we're also utilizing, and we'll just take it from there. But happy that he's you get to see him every day, and it's nice when I walk down the hallway and I hear "What up, Beast," which is, for whatever reason, he calls me Beast all the time. I don't think I give off the Beast vibe, but and we'll just take it day by day from there.
Is he traveling?
He will not be traveling to this game for recovery purposes.
Have you and Chris made a firm decision that he won't be going on IR today or tomorrow?
Yeah, he won't be. He won't be going on IR today or tomorrow. Yeah, still getting information and progressing through that.
Anything you can tell us about two guys who have practiced little or not at all this week, Crossan and Waddle?
So we'll be checking out Crossan today and seeing how he goes, but we're just being careful not to push the envelope. And as Coach Ulbrich and Saleh will be pumped to hear, I'm just hoping for the best with Jalen Waddle.
Mike, sorry. I'm curious, and hopefully this doesn't get too much into game plan. With a left-hander like Tua going to a right-hander like Teddy, do you have to flip play calls at all as a play caller for certain plays?
You try to, if you do have tendencies to do things one direction because of that, defense generally picks up on it. So, we run, Tua all the time run bootlegs to the right. We kind of even everything out, so we don't tend to have too many one-way orchestrations. So no, it doesn't really change anything. The hardest part was actually learning left-handed quarterback footwork to coach, and it's just reverse. But it just once you got that done for the coaches, it didn't affect the players at all. It didn't affect Tua. He'd been throwing with his left for his whole life. So outside of that, it doesn't really change anything at all. To be honest.
Mike, how has Brandon Shell been progressing?
Good. He had a good week of practice. Been very impressed with his commitment to own the scheme. It's always challenging when you jump in to a moving operation that's already full tilt. But he's shown his professionalism. He improves on stuff every day, which is what my base bottom line is for all players. That's all I'm really concerned with, is them continuing to improve. And he's done that, and I'm very happy we have him here.
Are you your secondary has some problems? You talked about Zach Wilson. Are you expecting heavy pass from the Jets?
The way I know the Jets and Coach LaFleur is I'm expecting heavy whatever's working. And it's not like, honestly, like, they have the ability to live in the run game. They've ran for in the last calendar year, I think they've had over 150 yards rushing. I know they had a great stretch. They might have, the last 6 games or so, they might have been like 3rd in the league in rushing last season. And they've done, and if it's impossible to run, he'll definitely pass it. I know he looks at the world from the quarterback's perspective, as he should. So he'll always try to call a balanced game, so that you can't play for pass and put the quarterback in harm's way. So, but I also know that if he's running the ball and it's not working, he's just not going to run it to run it. But he'll try to get an evenly called game as best he can. As I know from experience, when he would last year, when he would text me with exclamation points and tell me, "I got 35 runs in!" Exclamation point.